All right, welcome to the Ben Mala podcast, where you can get real facts and true advice about all things real estate, business, and lifestyle. Ben Mala here. He has owned hundreds of $1 million in real estate. Send in your super chats too, because we're doing super chats tonight to get your answers, to get your questions answered by the man right here. You're ready to go. And then we also are not doing calls tonight, but we have two very important guests here. We have Ari here of Tampa Bay. He has brokered hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate. And we also have his right-hand man here, Nathan, ready to go, fresh in the game. So we're all ready here to make some money. Also, don't forget, October 7th is the date. You guys got to be ready. We're doing a live show here in Tampa, Florida with the man himself, Ben Mala, to teach you guys all things real estate. You want to elaborate a little bit off of that, Dan?
No, I don't want to elaborate. I just want you to buy a ticket, come to the show. It's the slowest season in a year. I need rooms filled. Come down, go to benmal.com, book the event, book your ticket, book your room. You got 2 hotels to choose from, and we're going to be there to help you and tell you what you need to do to get on the right path of making some money.
And what date's it going to be?
October the 7th.
And I heard there's going to be a nice buffet that night.
Oh, we got food. It's going to be a meet, a greet, and eat. And even Vince is going to show up. And tonight, you're lucky. Not only do we have the big shot celebrity here, Jimmy Hart, and we have 2 brokers that I work with on a daily basis. This guy calls me. I'm not kidding. If he could, I don't take his call at 8. I wait till 9 to pick up. This guy, you know why I work with him? Because every morning he's ready to rock and roll, baby. He's moving deals, okay? He's cooking and he's moving, and that's what I like. Why? I gave him hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate to sell. We're always looking to buy. We bought, we sold, we do it all. Why? Because he's a damn good broker, and he's ready to work. Ari from Ripco, baby, and he'll rip you a new one if he has to. And he's got his great right-hand man here, Nathan. These guys are a super team in retail. There's nothing they can't do. I don't care if it's from $1 million to $100 million. They can do it. Thanks for coming tonight, Ari. We really appreciate you coming all the way from Tampa. I did buy him dinner.
Absolutely. Appreciate the time.
Did you go to Applebee's?
Yesterday, you just
Absolutely.
You just did a podcast with Crexy, okay? Crexy's one of the biggest sites there is for looking for retail. They had him doing a special podcast. How was Crexy doing?
It was a good time. It was the first time I did it, and I told you about it, and you asked me why I didn't show up on yours. All you had to do is ask.
Now he's here.
There you go. And then if you have like any questions that have to do with like broker or anything like that, we literally have the source right in front of you. So send them the super chat and we'll definitely get to those questions, because there's no better people to learn from than these guys right here, especially in the brokerage.
And don't forget, get your tickets to Ben's show. It's going to be unbelievable. The whole family's going to be there. It's going to be
You're not going to
great.
be there.
I know I can't be there, man. And
Too busy. Big shot celebrity.
Well, I'm on the road. I'm on the road. He always,
you're
every
on the
time
road.
he calls me, he goes, "When are you going to be out of
You're gonna
town?"
be
That's when he
roadkill.
books your shows, when I'm out of town. But look who's here. Vinny's here.
I'm here.
Come
He's
on,
here.
Vinny. I got your
There
seat
you
for
go.
you, baby.
He's babysitting. He's babysitting.
A-list seat.
No, come on.
Look at you. You got a full podcast.
Oh yeah, we got
You
a full
know?
day here.
Here you go,
I'm
baby.
just
We
the
got it
extra,
right
like,
here.
oh, in case they don't show up, then you come on over.
No, you're here. I just warming your seat up.
Oh, I
Here,
got
go ahead.
baby duties. Stay down for a little
He's
bit.
gotta
Unless you wanna
be
watch the baby.
Baby
Jimmy.
daddy today. Baby daddy. But he's here. If you got a question for Vincent, send it in.
Yep.
All right. But we're here with real deal brokers that I deal with. All right. Okay. These guys are on my level, but they can help anybody on any level. So if you got a question, or if you're thinking about buying or selling some retail, and you cover the whole country, don't you?
Yeah, on the single tenant net lease side, the whole country, shopping centers, most of the state.
Anything that's doing retail, you can deal with.
Yeah, for the most
Right.
part. And if not, point you in the right direction to
There
someone
you
that
go.
can.
Look up Ari. What's your last name?
Ravi.
Robbie, there you go.
Ravi. Okay. And he makes a mean butter chicken. Okay. So look up
Damn
Ari
right.
Ravi at Ripco. And if you need a question, I'm sure if you send him an email, he's online, look him up, ask him. And I'm sure he'd be willing to help you, especially if there's a commission involved. And Nathan's right there, you know, doing all the support work and doing a lot of stuff with him. So you got a really strong team here. These guys know their numbers. They know what the market is. They know the deal. Okay. And that's what you need. You need people who are experts. I'm not an expert. They're the experts. They do this stuff every day, you know? So that's why you got to deal with expert brokers like them.
I already see a couple questions. Like once, is CCIM worth it?
What do you see?
So someone asking if a CCIM is worth it. You know, that it's like a commercial real estate designation. Classes you take. I'd say, yeah, it is, unless you can find like a good firm for training and a good mentorship for development. And that's probably best. But
Mentor CCIM.
well,
What is it?
Well,
this is
yeah.
But it's
Yeah, that's
basically
what
a designation code
it
that
is right
represents your credentials in real estate. And
yeah, you
right?
learn about investment real estate and take classes for it.
I mean, it's always good to learn. You can always, I
Absolutely.
learn every day. Okay.
And like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but getting your real estate license, isn't that like the first step to get in the real estate world, especially being young?
Yeah, I mean, you need the license to at least be able to buy and sell, or help people buy and sell real estate or lease it. In commercial real estate, the state license, you need it to do it, but it's about 99% residential focused. But yeah, that's the first thing you got to do.
Let me ask you a question now. If you, Nathan, you're young, you just got your license. How many years ago?
About 2 years ago.
All right, so 2 years ago, you graduated college.
Yep.
And then you got your license.
Yep. So I graduated from Florida State with a major in real estate, one of the few schools that actually has that major. So really fortunate to be able to do that. Graduated, moved down here about 2.5 years ago to work with Ari in Tampa, and immediately got my real estate license. It's a 70-hour course around there, but it takes no time at all. And as soon as you get that, you're able to start making some commission and doing deals.
But the regular license that you get from the state to get a real estate license, you can do residential or commercial, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you don't need a special license to learn commercial. It's the same license, whether it's residential or commercial. You just got to make sure you're working with somebody who knows commercial that has a broker's license, right?
Yeah, that's a key. Not just that they have a broker's license, but they know what they're doing and they're willing to teach you.
Right. So you have a license. You're a broker because you have a college degree. That helps.
So if you do have a college degree in real estate, you're able to get your sales associate license. After 2 years of your sales associate license, then you're able to qualify for your brokerage license.
That's the same way for a high school diploma too, isn't it?
It is, yep. But you can skip the courses with a real estate degree. So you're able to kind of bypass that 70-hour course, sit for the exam. But we call ourselves brokers. All of our licenses are under a main broker. Even if you have your brokerage license, it becomes a broker associate, and it's knocked down to the same that we have, which is a sales associate, which is just take that course and you're able to start going right away.
But you have a broker's license now?
No, I do not. We just refer brokers, the
Right.
lingo for it, but brokerage license.
Do you plan on getting your broker's license now that you have 2 years in?
Down the road, yeah, I do, because that way you have a lot of opportunities to be able to set something up yourself.
Then you get a bigger piece of that commission too, don't you, as a broker?
Yep, you do.
Ooh, you don't like that. All right. So listen, seriously, these guys know everything there is to know about retail real estate. Okay. How to buy it, how to sell it. They even you help people with debt too, don't you?
Yeah, we have a debt team based in Miami. They've done over 20 billion of volume over the years. Steve Sparandio and his team based in Miami.
One-stop shop. They can help you buy it. They can help you finance it. They can help you sell it. That's the kind of people you got to deal with.
And lease it.
And lease it too. In fact, somebody in his firm just came up with a tenant for us. We're going to try to close the deal. So right above the Outback that we got.
Yep. And she got a lead. Karina Gattasso got a lead for Holiday as well. So
very good. Very
on,
good.
And we got errands for you at Midway a couple
There
years
you go.
ago.
They leased errands out for us. Not this errand, the furniture store.
That's right.
But, so Ari's been a major asset to us in helping us with our assets. He's like the ass in the set.
Appreciate that. I'll take
I
that
meant
as
it
a
as
compliment.
a compliment.
Yeah, I'll take it as
And
one.
Vincent's here.
Speaking of ass,
Vincent dragged me all the way out to Apollo last night in a rainstorm to look at some shopping center on Apollo Boulevard, wasn't it?
Apollo Boulevard, yeah.
Something like
Apollo. I always liked Apollo. Always knew, just because the placement of,
Apollo Beach, yeah.
Apollo
absolutely.
Beach where it's
Great
at.
area.
But it was ugly getting out there. That was
You got to
weird.
go through a lot of country to
A lot
get
of
there.
industrial.
But,
lot of
there
growth
might be
there,
some
though.
opportunity there. We're looking into it. We'll let you know. as
We
soon as
sold that
know something.
Winn-Dixie Center, Mirror Bay Village out there.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot
Very
of growth out there. I
Yeah,
mean,
there
there was
is.
like 3,000 to 4,000 single family homes and another 2,000 to 3,000 multifamily condos, whatever they had.
Wherever
going.
you look,
The
it's all
point is
residential.
this. The reason why we went out there is because he took me to an area that's on its way. It's been boomed, and now it's booming more. He showed me all the new shit that's being built. That's when you get into the ground floor. Wherever you see the big boys doing stuff, you got to ride their coattail. He showed me I couldn't count how many brand new homes with clubhouses, apartment buildings, townhouses, condos, new department stores going up. You got to go where the growth is, and you'll grow with it. You may not be able to do no big giant deal. We don't, but you might be going there and find something that fits your, level of real estate. Go where there's growth.
I wish I had a camera with us from Ybor City to Apollo Beach, because I was sitting there sweating because I haven't been out there in a while. That whole drive, he was like, where does it start? Where does it? All you see is greenery everywhere. He's like, what the hell is going on? Where the fuck are you taking me?
But when we got there, I was impressed. Okay. Things were booming there. People are buying homes there. They're building and doing everything there. So,
all that green's going to change.
I hope. It seems like it.
The green will turn into green, baby.
Yeah.
So what do we got, Aaron? Anything?
All right. Shout out to House Fan Man. Thank you for the first super chat of the night. Did you convert that small shopping plaza with needlepoint store into triple net? Is it difficult to convince small business to switch to triple net? Do you have any advice on that?
Yes. Okay. It is difficult sometimes, but it is what it is. You can't change any of the terms until the lease is up. Okay. So we have to wait for the leases to be up, and then we can renegotiate. And if they already have options with terms built in, correct me if I'm wrong, there's nothing you can do. I mean, but we are planning to convert them to triple net because that's the way you run retail. It's always best to let the tenants be part of it and pay their share of the expenses. You could try to build it into the gross lease, but you're better off just whatever the costs are to run the place, push it off on a tenant, have CAM, let them pay the expenses, and then you end up with pure rent. But we are trying, but it takes time. We got to wait for the leases to burn out.
I was going to say, it could take 10 years. It could take 5 years.
Whatever the lease is.
Because they get to exercise the options too, so you never know.
But if the options don't have specific terms,
yes,
you can renegotiate.
Yeah, well, there's some options that are market rate, so that's negotiable. But a lot of options are certain percentages.
And that has to do with the rent.
Percentages increase.
Market rate has to do with, okay, the lease says, fine, your lease is up. You got an option for 5 more years at market rate.
Market rate, yep.
Can you also change the CAM terms?
Well, in triple net, if it's triple net, it's whatever the CAM is.
If it's a gross lease.
If it's gross, typically not. But there's
but you can't, because a lot of times I notice the lease doesn't specify anything but what the rent's going to be.
Yeah, and then it summarizes what the CAM expenses are. So if your CAM is $5 a foot 1 year and then goes up to $7 a foot the next year, then yes, you can pass through.
But if it's a gross lease, I mean, you can always increase your CAM based on the expenses.
Yep.
That's why you need to do a CAM reconciliation. We do CAM reconciliations on all tenants that are on triple nets, and then they either pay us or sometimes we've actually given money back. Yep. Because they've overpaid on the CAM. But if it's a gross lease, you got to wait till you have the opportunity to change the terms of the lease. And so read your lease. Everything's spelled out in the lease. The lease is the Bible when you're renting to a tenant.
Absolutely.
So if there's options, you can't change the gross lease to a triple net.
No.
Okay, I need to know because I see a lot of, we're looking for it.
Generally speaking,
and I see a couple gross leases on some triple net properties still. There's quite a few out there.
A lot of times you can make it part of the negotiating. If you have the opportunity to negotiate the rent with them, you also got the option to negotiate terms.
Yeah.
Because you could say, okay, well, we're not going to jack your rent up so much, but you got to start paying CAM. I mean, you can do anything. It's all negotiating. Everything in life is about two people coming together and finding a common ground where they're all happy. That's the way humans are, and that goes for everything outside of real estate. When two people are on different, whatever they're doing business, it's all about just coming together and making a deal that works for everybody. That's what the life's all about. Now we just got to teach the Democrats and the Republicans that.
Oh, geez.
We don't get political on the show.
Good.
But, but anyway, if you got questions for some real big shot brokers, now's your chance. And I know you guys are going to come to the show or what?
Yeah.
I'm buying you dinner that night.
Done.
Okay. October 7th, you're going to be in the same room, able to talk to these guys that move hundreds or if not $1 billion worth of real estate in your career. I'm sure you've contracted and done deals exceeding $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, I was running Marks and Millichap for 4 years, so personally transacted.
And I met you through CB Richard Ellis.
Yep, absolutely.
So this guy's been with the biggest firms in the country, moving big deals for how long now?
15 years.
15 years. There you go. You don't get any better than that. And if you come to our show, you're going to have access to somebody like that. So what are you waiting for? Go to benmal.com/live and book that ticket. I'm telling you, he's only put so many seats in there because the fire department only allows so many. So seating is limited. You better hurry up and get that seat because you might miss out. And then you'll be stuck out in the parking lot with Vincent.
Oh,
Still
look,
coming
chat.
out.
Hey, chat. Look, we got a hater in the chat.
A hater
in the chat.
I love
Ben
haters.
is total fake news. What do you got to
What's
say
fake
about
news?
How much
that? It
did he
says
give you
Ben
for that?
is total fake news.
I'm fake. There ain't nothing fake about me, baby.
What do you
I
gotta say
can
about
prove
that?
it. So I don't know what you're talking about.
He
Yeah.
still has his
Hey,
own
chat,
knees.
get
He
on
still
Mark.
has his kidney. He
Mark's
still
a
has
hater.
everything.
Get him out of here.
Anyway, you know, when somebody says something that's totally ridiculous, I don't care. Don't bother me, especially if it's not true. So, you know, I don't care. Who cares? But I'm not fake. I'm in my house right now. I definitely gave him hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate to sell.
I can
So,
vouch for
you know,
that.
what are you going to do? Some people out there just
Well,
want
you
to
are
hate.
kind of fake sometimes.
hate.
Whenever he says anything negative about me, it's fake. It's for show. Besides that, he keeps it real.
Keeping it real, baby. Keeping it real.
All
What
right.
do you got, Eric?
All right, shout out Boomer Tuber. Thank you for the super chat. Can you really negotiate interest rates on CRE? Thanks.
Can you negotiate interest rates? I mean,
Generally speaking, Ben, you may have a different situation with your lenders, but generally speaking, there's not too much negotiating room. Look, unless you use there's debt teams, very good debt teams out there, and I'll speak for the one at Ripco. They have so many different relationships with different lenders that they do have some level of influence to get the lenders to work against each other, essentially, to come up with the best price and terms. But no, it's typically not the easiest thing to negotiate.
Listen,
interest rates.
you can try, okay? Borrowing money is, like I said, you got you and you got the bank. You got to find a meeting point that you both can swallow. Do I negotiate with banks? Hell yeah, I negotiate with everybody. I even negotiate with him.
Yeah.
When he can't give me the price I want, well, you know, Ari, we got a nice fat commission in there. And, you know, he's willing to help me and work with me to some point that it makes sense for everybody. Everything's negotiable. But typically, it depends on the size you are, depends how big you are. It depends on what risk you're in. Interest only is negotiable. Everything's negotiable in life. But typically, it depends who you are and what you got and how much risk you are. If I go to a bank and I want to borrow $10 million, I'm no friggin' risk. They know that. So they're going to negotiate with me as best they can. All right? It's all about your weight. And believe me, look at me. I got plenty of weight.
Yeah,
Now,
and tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but also part of like the quote unquote negotiation, that'd be just shopping around different banks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that is
Shop.
really part of the negotiation for yourself to take it upon yourself to get the best rate possible to benefit yourself. So you should take the opportunity to go shop around all these different banks and see who's really going to give you the best terms for your deal. So that is really part of the
That's it. You're
negotiation.
shopping.
Right?
You got to shop for money. Borrow money is shopping. You know?
No, and if you don't have the time, that's when a good debt broker that has all those relationships that gets those banks to compete against each
When
other.
I started out, I had a broker handle everything.
Yep.
He did it all for me because he shopped around. He had access to all these different banks. He found out which bank had a taste for what I had. He got the best deal for me. He put it on the table. He said, listen, I spoke to everybody, and this is the best deal I got for you. I took it. You know, that's where you hire professionals. And everything you do in life, try to hire professionals.
All right. Yeah, that's good. Shout out AB. Thank you for the super chat. Good question for us right now. Is it too late to negotiate a commercial broker's commission after you've signed an agreement? 6%. What are must-haves on a lease? Also,
Well, the first part, Ari, you can talk
it's a
about.
two-part question.
I mean, you know, I'll let him explain it because he's an expert and he's been in that situation many times. And we just tell it like it is here, Ari.
So look, the truth is everything's negotiable. But if somebody signs a document at a certain commission rate, then that's a form of commitment, but it's not binding. So you would hope when people sign that commission agreement,
Binding if you close that deal.
absolutely, until that deal is closed and that closing statement signed, then yes, technically everything is negotiable. But typically speaking, Ben falls into this category. Our fees are usually not renegotiated.
I mean, you sign a document for a broker to market your property and to go out there and spend all this time talking to buyers and trying to sell your property. Then you agreed to pay him a commission, then you got to pay it. It's a legal document. Now, if the brokers are the smart guys, trust me, okay? If they know they're not coming through because of the market, not their fault, the market's the market. You can't control the market. If I want $5 million, but he's saying, listen, Ben, the market's only going to pay you $4 million. Well, for me to take $1 million hit, Ari would probably say, well, maybe I can work with you. Maybe I can work with the other broker. He's going to do everything he's got to do to close that deal. All right. Because he's in that deal. He, it's much better he gets something than nothing. So he's a smart guy. He likes to make deals happen. Okay. That's when you know you got a good broker. Now, if you got a broker that says, well, it's not my problem, then that's the wrong broker. All right. But everything's negotiable. But if you sign that document and you go to closing on whatever price you agree to, then yes, you got to pay the commission.
Facts.
I like it.
That's how they make a living. These guys work in big fancy offices. How many people are on the team?
5.
5 people, 5 mouths to feed. And those 5 mouths to feed probably all got mouths to feed. Everybody's got to make money.
Yeah,
Everybody's got
everybody.
to live. His name might be Nathan, but he can't live off of hot dogs.
Nope, not for long at least.
All right. Shout out John Canaford. Thank you for the super chat. We are a small AV company. How can we get into more of these independent hotels to provide like audio, video, lighting services, brochures, and pricing maybe? If we don't include pricing, does that turn off to like hotel brokers?
Listen, if you're an
bookers,
AV company,
sorry.
okay, and I spend a lot of money on AV, don't we? Yeah. Okay, because the franchises want upgrades. The first thing you want to do is you need to maybe go directly to the franchises like Marriott, Wyndham, all those big brands, Choice, Hilton, and find out what's the latest requirements that they make us upgrade all the time. When we got to do a PIP, we got to upgrade the property, and they tell us exactly what we need to do. But in the meantime, get your company brochure and go right to the hotel and leave a brochure for the general manager and say, listen, I'm here and I can handle all your AV needs, because it's very important right now. Everything is AV. Zooming, people staying in hotels need to do Zoom. They want to have meetings. There's all kinds of stuff. Go directly to the hotels and get them a brochure, get it in front of the GM, and hopefully they'll call you and tell them, listen, just give me an opportunity to bid whatever you need. Believe it or not, do you know I got a letter from the Department of Defense I own a hotel next to an Air Force base in Tampa, MacDill, right? Yep. They sent me a letter. And they did this to every single this is good for the AV guy. They went to every hotel within a radius of any military installation. And if you had certain Chinese equipment and cameras and all this stuff, rip it out, baby. Rip it out. And I'm not going to argue with the Department of Defense. They're most of our customers anyway. And they told us, get rid of it. We don't want it. And we had to rip all that equipment they didn't want and replace it with new equipment. That's part of the business. That's life. So go right to the horse's mouth and tell them who you are, what you can do, and do it. It's all about marketing, selling your company.
And if you can't get to the GM, so definitely go to the more hotels you go to, the better the chances.
If you go to a property management company that manages 100 hotels,
that's
everything
good too.
you got to do
That's
to
harder
promote
to
your
get
company.
to. That's harder to get to. If you go to hotels, look for the F&B director, because that's the person who sets up everything. The GM you'll probably never meet a GM because they're usually somewhere doing something off the property or something. But F&B director, but there's a lot of money in the AV company, especially us at the Sheraton. We spent thousands of dollars. We would try to buy stuff, when we came across good deals to just save money on that. Because if we found someone that could beat someone's price by $100, we would go with it. So go there, beat the prices out, and show them that you got nice equipment. And
do
you're
what you got to
guaranteed
do
to get
to
the
sell
job.
yourself. What else you got, Aaron?
And show up and help them with the equipment too. Don't just drop it off. You got to help them with the equipment. Give that full service.
All
It's
right.
pretty big for AV companies.
Yeah.
The guy next door started the AV business. I think he's a billionaire. What do you got?
All right. Shout out Michael Bull. Thank you for the super chat. I've been out of crime for 15 years now and turned everything around with my record and entire body tattooed. Do you think somebody like me could do real estate?
Of course.
Anybody can be in real estate, okay? Did they do a criminal check to get your license?
Yeah, not anyone can get their license.
But he's been out of crime for 15 years.
I don't know the exact rules, but there are
Statutes.
certain things that will prevent you from getting your license.
there's
But
a
there's
time
nothing
on
that
it.
will prevent you from buying real estate.
You can always buy real estate, as long as you're buying it with legal money and it's not stolen,
Yeah, as
illegal
long as
money.
it's not done while committing a crime.
Yeah.
of course.
Listen, real estate's for
If
everybody,
you're a felon,
okay?
can you get a
If
loan?
you've been out of crime for 15
Yeah.
years, you should have a clean slate. If you want to get into real estate by getting your license, check with the state, see what their rules are. but anybody can buy real estate as long as the money's legal that you're using that, to buy it, and anybody can get real estate. And listen, just because, you've been out of crime 15 years, I think everybody's going to look at that as, you got a clean slate and a fresh start now. As far as tattoo goes, wear long sleeve shirt and pants.
Or sell single tenant net lease assets. It's a lot of phone work, so it's not as much face to face.
And when you go to the bank to try to borrow some money, try to look presentable. I'm just telling you, it's the world we live in. All right, let's just face it. You want to go into a bank looking all, whatever. I'm telling you, if you want to borrow their money, go in there where they're gonna welcome you. So listen, if you got a clean credit and you got an income and you qualify, you're just a number in life. All right. If your criminal history is that far in the past, everyone is a number. Don't matter what color you are, how old you are, how ugly you are. It doesn't matter. You're a credit number, your credit score, and you're either some sort of risk or not.
And that's true, but you might have better luck at a private lender than the big banks because
try
that. But the private lenders are really down to earth. They're normal people.
Because they're making money off of you, more money. But listen, get in any way you can fit in. That's what you got to do. And the only way you're going to know is by trying. So if you want to get a real estate license, go online, look up a state you're in for the license, and see if they have any mention about criminal background. But at 15 years, I think you're past the time. Okay. I mean, he hasn't committed a crime over 15 years, right? So he's clean now.
And I mean, don't you open up an LLC anyway to run the business? So it's kind of not your personal name on everything. It's really the business.
Anyway, try. All right. That's all I can tell you is try. And if you try, you will succeed in life, no matter what your past is. As long as your past is your past and your past ain't your present. What else?
All right. Shout out Deliman. Thank you for the super chat. I have 150 grand in cash and a paid off condo in Tampa. Looking to take the step in investing in residential in Tampa. What advice would you give me if you were in my shoes?
Residential, I'd say, is your world.
All right. Right now, we're in a very tricky time. All right. Things are in a standstill in a weird place. Interest rates are up. All right. And property values are up. It's not supposed to be that way. Right now, we're in a waiting pattern. I'm telling you, I'm seeing it every day. Prices are coming down. Okay, they have to because the numbers don't make sense. And if they don't make sense, they don't make money. At the end of this year, right now is a good time to start looking and lowballing, baby. You find a deal you like. All right, the numbers don't work, make the numbers work and make the offer based on the numbers working for you. You can always go up, but you can't go down. Lowball is shit out of something. You need a good agent. I would not be here today if it wasn't for brokers and agents. There's no way possible. You got to find an agent that's willing to work for you, right office, lowball shit. Find out what you qualify for. You want to buy a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex, look, start there. Get an agent. Tell them, show me everything. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4 units around here and see what the rents are, see what the expenses are, see what kind of return you're going to get on your money. Honestly, that 150 grand, could probably get you, $750,000 deal. Possibly at least $500,000, so, find out what's out there, get a good agent. All right. That's what you need.
And there's still deals in Tampa. What neighborhood were we in the other day? There was
deals
a house for
everywhere.
$300K.
There's always deals. The more you look, the more you're going to find, but use an agent and let them do your work. The seller's going to pay their commission. So they're working for you for free. All right, find a good agent and tell them what you're looking for. They should spit out a list. You go out there, you drive some of these places, you look at what the rents are, you look at what the expenses are, and you make a logical, intelligent decision on what the property's worth. All right, that's what you need to do. All right, you can also go to a lender and get pre-approved too. All right, if it's in Tampa, I recommend Valley Bank. They're very friendly and they like to loan money to people. Go to any bank you want, get pre-approved. And then as far as your condo goes, I don't know. Unless you really need the money, I would not bar against it in today's interest rate environment. All right, leave that alone. Unless, I don't know, do you do HELOCs on condos? I'm not sure. I know they do on homes.
I think so, yeah.
You could always get a HELOC if you want a little extra money to run to if you had to, because you don't pay for it until you use it. It's just sitting there waiting for you. But at today's rates, I'm not pushing borrowing money. All right, the numbers really got to work. What else?
All right, shout out Ahmed. Thank you for the super chat. Going to start making $600 grand a year with my new job. My goal is to build houses and multifamily and get sweat equity. What are your thoughts, or should I just buy already built multifamily?
Whatever you can do, wherever the deal is at, it doesn't matter. Okay. If you can do the numbers and you can build a house and make money on it, then do it. And if you can buy a multifamily property and improve it, then do it. But if you're going to be making $600,000 a year, I hope you got time for all
We need
this.
to focus on that.
Whatever
600K a
makes
year?
sense.
What I would say is building something from the ground up is much more complicated and a lot more moving parts than buying something existing.
But can be profitable.
It can be very
The value
profitable.
add is in building.
But I will say, you didn't get into build. You made your wealth by buying existing. Now you're going into development
Only
because of all the
because-
experience you've got.
Well, but I honestly, I've never been a builder. Little Ben, he took it on. It was a learning experience. He
Yeah.
made some mistakes, but he learned, but we made money. Because now you're taking, typically you can make money in construction, providing your land cost and your building cost is, you know what that is. Then you got to determine, well, once it's built, what's it worth? Then you look at that number. Then you compare how much profit's there. But typically it doesn't matter. Anything you can make money on, you do. He looks at everything. He don't care. He looks at land. He looks at houses. He looks at apartments. He don't care.
Car wash.
He don't
Keep
care.
going. We
Yeah.
baby
It's
daycare
whatever
center.
you feel there's some fat in the bone, baby. He's looking for the fat.
Yeah, but you also got to also keep in mind that you need cash to do these things. You need cash to buy real estate. You need cash to build real estate. So I don't know what kind of cash you have, but it would be, especially right now in these times, because we all know where the rates are right now. So I would definitely focus on getting some cash
What do
in
you
the
mean?
bank.
You need to focus on protecting that
Stash your
$600,000
cash.
job you got
Oh,
for
yeah,
about
well.
3 to 4 years. Then you really
Yeah.
ready to get some real
Build that
estate.
cash.
You need to go to
and then invest.
benmal.com/consult with Ben. Get me on the phone and let's talk about you on an individual basis.
600,000.
a
Damn,
lot.
what kind of
That's
job
as
is
much
that?
as you make.
Yo, okay.
I also just want to take a moment, like, guys, please like the video and share it with your friend. I mean, this is where you're going to get the real facts about real estate, real advice that would definitely benefit you. So share it with a friend, like the video. And if you're not subscribed, why are you not subscribed?
We need
Like,
a million
this is the
subscribers
best.
and we ain't there yet.
This is the best real estate channel you can get on YouTube. The realest facts and the realest person right here. And you got the team to back you up too. So please like the video, subscribe, notification bell, everything. And don't forget about the show, October 7th, right? Here in
October
Tampa,
7th.
Florida.
Even Aaron will be there.
I'll be there. I mean, it's gonna be fun.
You're gonna take time out of your busy schedule, flying around,
Yeah, I
visiting colleges.
I
and
did. I
stuff?
just came back from Notre Dame. Actually, I spent a couple of days there, checked out the college because that's the next big step in my life right now is going into college. And
Seriously.
All right, what else we got? We ain't got all night. Ari ain't got all night. He's got to get back at home. He's got work to do. He's got buyers to find me.
all right, shout out Manly. Thank you for the super chat. Do you see the CRE apocalypse? Some are reporting it's coming. Big houses like Blackstone won't be able to afford their loans reset to current rates. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, things are definitely challenging, but there's no CRE apocalypse, especially here in Florida.
I think it's coming.
Well, everyone's got an opinion. I don't disagree necessarily.
Commercial
with that,
real
but
estate.
apocalyse means the
Apocalypse,
sky
that's
is
a little
I wanna
falling.
hear him
strong.
talk.
All right, yeah,
Let him
that's
talk.
a little-
Let's- oh,
No,
sorry.
no.
Go
I'm
ahead.
talking
No,
to you.
you-
I'm talking.
Yeah,
let
look,
you
when
talk.
you say CRE apocalypse, it's a little dramatic. An apocalypse is like the world's coming to an end. Are things slowing down? Sure, markets cycle, but commercial real estate's a tangible asset. It's needed and provides services, housing and multifamily, services and retail, services and industrial, services for self-storage, hotels. People are still going to need to eat. People are going to still need a place to live, shop, store stuff. People store more
But
junk.
how
Okay.
long are we going to sit back and look at cap rates below the interest rate? That
Yeah.
makes no sense. Come on, let's be honest. All right, this
That-
show is honesty, baby.
that is
Tell
not-
it like it is.
I see apocalypse.
All right.
So I'm being. Go ahead.
Apocalypse is
All
true.
right,
So
Aaron,
wait.
you
So
gonna change that question?
So
Correction.
Ari's take is that an apocalypse is not coming.
No, absolutely not.
So
But
it is.
also-
But is there challenging times and headwinds? Yeah. When the interest rates go up in 18 months, which should have been done over 4 years, then yeah, that's going to cause a drop in velocity. We've seen about 60 to 70+% drop in velocity year over year, but that's far from
Okay.
from.
All right. So
apocalypse.
that's one take.
But
So
there
what's
are
your
guys
take?
that are going to fail because, all right, I sucked away enough money to where I can live without cash flow. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm strong enough to live without cash flow. But all the guys that have partnerships and need a capital call, commercial real estate is not like residential. You don't get 30-year loans. You get 3, you get 5, you get 7, you get 10-year loans.
Yep.
And sooner or later, when those loans are up, you're going to be paying today's interest rate and your cash flow is out the fucking window. Pardon my language. I said I wasn't going to curse today because Ari's here.
Well,
So listen,
It's 37 minutes.
there's gonna be deals. That's what matters. We don't need an apocalypse. All you need is one good deal to make it, baby. That's what you need. And the deals are coming because sooner or later, the interest rates at this rate right now are gonna start hurting people. And a lot of people aren't gonna be able to withstand the pain. That's a fact.
sure.
I'm crying
so-
every night.
I agree. There will be pain.
I pay to own some properties right now because I was stupid. I didn't fix my damn rate. And I can't control the market. I can't control the interest rate. And that's life. Now, luckily, I can live without that extra property cash flowing. And that property cash flow, because I got other properties that are cash flowing. So I'm keeping my head above water. And and I also got, backup money to protect me. A lot of people can't do that. There's a lot of non-recourse out there. I predict you're going to see a big CMBS crash in a lot of loans.
Wait, what does that stand? What does that stand for? Because I don't know what that stands for.
Commercial mortgage-backed securities. Most of the buyers that we deal with don't do CMBS loans, but those are the type of loans that are very strict rules and covenants. So if those are violated, then that's problematic.
Debt to ratio, right?
Yep.
The bank says when they loan you the money that if you can't maintain a certain cash flow,
Yep.
you're in default. And they could call that loan, and they're gonna, why? Because they're gonna get scared. They say, "Oh shit! If he ain't got money coming in, he can't maintain the property. He can't handle it."
Those are far less flexible than the conventional loans that lenders, banks, life insurance
The
companies.
banks are gonna have to start telling us about the bad loans. They don't want to right now. You saw what happened in California. You know why that all happened in California? Those banks went belly up. You know why?
Yeah.
Because of what? Real estate.
Yep. Well, tech as well. Bad investments.
They loaned money to people, and the values were very high back then.
Yep.
And now the values aren't so high, and the cash flow ain't what it used to be. And people got scared, and they took their money out of the bank, and the bank went belly up. And you know what? I lost my shirt in that bank that went belly up in Silicon Valley. Because I own preferred stock in that bank I bought 3 years ago when it was a strong bank. And I lost everything. Every penny of that stock went down to zero. Oh, by the way,
I couldn't save that one. I could not save that one, boys. With the
Let me
stocks.
tell that to Aaron. Was that the pass along message? It really messed up your Aaron. Fucked you up on that.
Yeah,
one.
I mean, I wonder how the market's gonna look, when I start getting really deep into the business, because that's only when you think about it. What am I? I'm 16, so I'm gonna start getting into it when I'm out of college. So
All right,
what,
enough
4,
about
5,
that
6
already.
years?
Look, the
20
fact
years
of the
from now.
matter
What do you
is,
got?
this too shall pass. I mean,
Everything
market
passes.
cycle.
It's a cycle.
Nothing's
it's a cycle.
permanent.
It's a cycle. And unfortunately, we don't get political, but we're being run by psychos. So we got psychos in the cycle. And I'm sorry, Trump was a cuckoo too. I'll tell it like it is, but I was living good, baby. That's all I can tell you. I was living really good. When interest rates were you know what I was paying a bank? SOFA plus 1.5 points. You know what SOFA was? It went as far down to 0.5 point or even 1/4 at one
And
time.
SOFR is
Not
the type of
surprised.
loan
Free
you can
money,
get, right?
baby.
SOFR is the type of loan you can get, right?
SOFR is
like
a
a
rate that you borrow
rate,
against.
okay.
It has to do with the overnight
No,
rate.
a lot of people don't know what
the
that is
Fed
out
funds
there.
rate, I think, is at 5.5 right now. Am I right?
I think so, yeah.
The federal government's loaning banks money at 5.5. The banks still got to pay to operate the bank. They got to make a profit. They got employees. They got buildings. They got all the computer shit to run. It costs money to run a bank. They got to tack on at least 2 points. All right. Normally they want to tack on 3 or 4.
And is that for any real estate or just like commercial or
In
it doesn't matter in general?
You got the Fed funds
Typical
rate.
commercial.
And then the
Okay.
banks need a loan on their deposits. Banks are paying me 5.5% on my money right now. Just sitting there. I can touch it anytime I want. It's 100% safe. And if they're paying me 5.5, they got to loan it out at 7 or 8 to make any money.
Yeah, we're still selling stuff for you at a 5.8 or 7.1 cap.
But me and you are on a different level. We're dealing with 1031 buyers. He taught me something the other day. I never knew the thing about a
33.
1033. I never even heard of it. What's that about?
So 1031 is if someone sells a piece of income producing real estate, they have a chance to defer capital gains by reinvesting that money into a like-kind investment real estate.
which is what we've done our
But now
entire
tell
lives.
us what you taught me.
So 1033 is if somebody sells their real estate or to the government or to the municipality via eminent domain. So in this case, the DOT needed it for additional road work and interchanges in a certain area in the Tampa area, and they buy that property from you through eminent domain. You have 2 years to reinvest that money into
Call the government up and see if they want to buy any of my assets, please. All right, can you do that? Hey, the hotel next door to mine in Tampa, we were just talking about earlier. The DOT, Department of Transportation, bought that hotel.
Yep.
They're knocking down 400 rooms. They gave that guy about $40 million. He had 2 years to replace the $40 million.
for that hotel. Yeah, if it's
Oh
eminent
my
domain,
God.
you got 1030.
I
Yeah.
want you to sell all my stuff to the eminent domains. I wish.
Yeah.
That would be a
You and
dream
me
come
both.
true.
You and me both.
All right. What else you got, Aaron? Come on. We ain't got all night. Ari's
All right.
got to get home. He's got a half-hour drive.
Shout out Eddie Rods. Thank you for your super chat. Ben, love the videos and information. I'm a licensed real estate broker in 3 states, Florida, North Carolina, and Illinois. Do you have your set brokers to do business with, or are you open to new partnerships or new
Listen,
brokers?
I'm going to tell you the honest, how I made where I'm at today. We were talking about this over dinner. Loyalty. Okay. Loyalty. If a broker brings me a deal, you should go back to that broker. You want to be a good broker to me? Bring me a deal and I'll do whatever I got to do to it. And when I'm ready to sell it, I'll give it back to you. Okay. That's how I operate. Okay. So there's always opportunity for a new broker in my life, but you got to bring me a deal. Or call Ari up if you got a buyer and he's happy to work in a commission split with you. All right. There's always room for a broker to get in, but you got to bring something to the table. All right. You got to bring him a buyer or you got to bring me a deal and you're in. That's all it takes. What else?
All right.
You agree,
Shout
Nathan?
out.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that? You sell somebody a piece of real estate. I mean, don't you think that's a fair way of doing business? You sold them a deal. They made money on the deal. Shouldn't they show loyalty and come back to you?
Sure, yeah, and that's something we like to base our mindset off of. We're always open to work with other brokers, and part of that is by incentivizing them with a healthy co-broke. We always try to make sure that we're splitting half of our fee with a buy-side broker because 95% of what we do is list. So we
Well, it
always
depends
want
on
to
the price they bring. They got to bring you a good price.
Absolutely. It's got to be something that makes sense.
For
But we're always
everybody.
wanting to work with other people. If that makes sense for our client, we always put our client first. And so that's our priority.
And they have. I've done it many, many times with him recently. We're in contract to sell properties right now. We're working on contracts. We're doing everything. He's showing properties. He's listing properties everywhere. We're cooking, baby. And hopefully we've sold how many assets in the last few months?
3.
That's it. You
Yep.
sold iDrive.
iDrive.
You sold
Thank
a
you.
public shopping center in Englewood.
2
You
Winn-Dixies.
sold 2 Winn-Dixies. That's
Yep.
4 right there.
Well, we got 2 under contract.
You got 2
LOI.
under contract. This guy's cooking here, baby. He ain't just cooking buttered chicken, baby. He's cooking some deals. So what else we got, Aaron?
All right. Shout out Mohammed. Thank you for the super chat. Ben, a lot of people right now cannot afford to buy a house due to the interest rate. Demand is down. Why is the supply still low? Who's buying these properties?
We're in a crazy market right now. The sellers don't want to get it in their head. They can't get the same price they got earlier or could have got. All right. People only listen, if the interest rate used to be 4, let's say 4, safe place for a house, right?
Sure.
Now it's at 8. And that's like FHA or something. That means they only qualify for half the damn loan based on their income. Okay. And the seller's got to get into their head. I listed that damn house for $12 million. I sold it for $8,750. That's the market. What am I going to do? Sit around with the house and be I got a $12 million house to sell. It ain't a $12 million house if nobody wants to pay it. It's a market. But you're going to see things turn. They have to. But I spoke to a president of a bank today, and he told me mortgage applications and mortgage loans are at an all-time low right now. Okay, so people are just getting way back, or prices got to come down, or people got to buy cheaper stuff. The guy that used to qualify for $1 million house, he only qualifies for $500,000 now based on his payment. That's life. It's the market. It's what you got to do. You just got to wait it out or buy something cheaper. I don't know what to say.
Inventory is low because people are afraid for the next step. You know,
They don't want to sell their property for a cheaper price. They're going to sit on it. You know, that's the way it works. It's life.
Yeah. And just to add to that, Ari and I were talking to somebody this week, and around 50% of people are locked into an interest rate that's 4.5% or lower. So if they sell, they're going to go get something at a way higher interest rate. And then this is residential. So why would you sell right now?
Residential, commercial, he's 100% right. If a guy sells today that's sitting there with a fixed low rate and he sells, when he has to go out and replace it, he's going to pay double. All right. So it may not pay for him to sell right now. That he's 100% right. What else?
All right. Shout out. I'm a cycle. Thank you for the super chat. Single tenant, triple net leases don't seem to make any sense right now unless you're in a 1031 because mortgage rates are higher than the asking cap rates. Do you think that rates might drop under asking caps in the next couple of years?
So single tenant net lease is a different type of animal because you can buy, it's essentially a annuity and a cash flow with very little to no management. So a lot of that type of investment is investing into the credit of the tenant and the term of the lease. So if you have a 10, 15, 20 year, call it Walgreens, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, that's essentially a mailbox check. So a lot of people buy those because they know it's usually all cash, very low leverage, because you're right, especially when cap rates are lower than interest rates, the return won't make much sense. But there's other reasons people buy it. And it's for convenience. It's for having no management. So someone that sells a multifamily asset they've owned for decades, they spend hours and hours every single week dealing with tenants, fixing up units, and they just want to, in the sunset of their career and life, want to relax and get a check. Yes, it's a smaller check, but you're also doing less work
and
for it.
Deferred a tax.
But
you are seeing cap rates go up.
Yeah, look, cap rates have to go up. They're going up slower in Florida because we have a propped up, healthy state economy. And your question, do you think that rates might drop under asking caps in the next couple years? Geez, that's a great question. If I knew the future, I wouldn't be
brilliant.
here.
We'd all be billionaires if we had a crystal ball. But that has to do with politics, and we don't talk about politics on this show. Okay, but cap rates have to go up now because it makes no sense. Okay, that's a fact. But you can lowball, baby. He's bringing me plenty of offers that are lowballing me. And, I swallow what I can swallow. And they try to meet, we try to find a meeting point. And sometimes we can, and sometimes we can't. That's life. That's part of being in real estate.
It's business, not emotion.
But you can always go up, but you can't go down. So lowball something. When a guy lowballs me, I don't get mad, do I?
No.
I just say, listen, he's a smart guy. He wants to buy it at his price. I don't blame him.
He gets a little mad.
I get upset with myself, but not with him. But sometimes he brings me offers that are millions of dollars less than what I'm asking, right?
Yeah, and we counter him because we know it's a game to play. And there's room. We just got to figure out if we can meet in the middle somewhere.
That's it. You got to do what you got to do.
I've been taught at a young age, especially from him, is that you can't be emotional with your money.
Yeah.
It's strictly business. Business is business. That's why you'll hear that all the time, is that business is business, and don't get emotional. Take that money.
Easier said than done.
He calls me up and he gives me some low ball offer. I say, oh boy. So you know what I do? I have to go back and I got to look at my basis to see, because basis is very important. Because when I may have 1031 into that deal, which I did, and my basis is very low. So that means I'm going to have a lot of gain. What is my tax on that gain if I can't 1031, which is next to impossible these days? I have to figure out, does it pay to go out and buy something else? Do I need financing if I buy something else? If I got to pay the government something else? And sometimes I've come back and say, you know what? Do it. I have.
Absolutely. We wouldn't close these deals if you didn't
Every
say that.
situation's different. But low ball if you're buying, and that's all you can do is figure out what your rock bottom is when you get involved with a broker to sell your property. Look at all the aspects of the deal. How much cash am I going to walk away from that deal? If I got to pay Uncle Sam, how much is that? It's all formulas. It's all common sense and numbers. There's no emotion. What else we got?
All right, shout out OG. Thank you for the super chat. Hello, boss man Ben. Love your content. You're always recommending for viewers to get their real estate license, but how does someone get to your level of deals, non-residential wise?
I started with residential. All right. Basically, you want to get somewhere in life. You got to start at the bottom. I didn't have any money. You start at the bottom and you find a deal that you can do. All right. I don't care if it's a friggin' trailer. I've seen guys go out I'm serious. I've seen guys go out and get a trailer for free. You know why? Because the people died, they abandoned it, and all the park wanted was a lot rent. So the guy had owned the lot. He said, "Listen, you take this trailer. You agree to pay me $300, $400, $500 a month, but a lot rent. I'm happy. You can have the manufactured home." The guy goes in. He spends a few grand fixing it up. He rents it out for maybe $700 or $800 a month, or maybe he'll even sell it now that it's fixed up. Because now people that tend to want to buy stuff, they want to buy something to move into. They don't want to buy something to fix up. Okay. And the same thing with houses. Most people starting out use FHA. FHA has an inspection. You have to meet the FHA inspection to be able to get a loan on that house. You could buy a fixer-upper really cheap, fix it up if the numbers work, and make it to pass the FHA inspection. Then that opens you up to all these other buyers that you can sell to. So get in where you fit in. That's what it's all about. And just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Like LL Cool J song, doing it that. You know that song?
Yeah, by the
I
way,
know that song.
buying
I know
residential
that
first,
song.
residential is a little less complicated. You don't want to venture into buying commercial real estate, shopping centers, single tenant net lease, because a lease comes with it. The lease is the most important thing. And those properties are typically going to be a few $1 million at least, where, like Ben said, a trailer, a condo, residential, leases don't mean nearly as much. They're a little bit easier because they're lower price points. You make a mistake, you're going to lose less money. They're not as long term. And the leases are 30, 40, 50 pages long. And unless you know those things inside and out, there's a lot of little landmines in all of those documents that you just got to make sure you don't do when you're going to do it for the first time.
We learn every day because we didn't read the leases.
Yeah.
You know, we learned there's all kinds of things that these companies are smart. These are billion-dollar corporations we're leasing to. They got lawyers that come up with all these damn clauses and little things that you got to be careful of. Just like, you know, what we learned is that, and a lot of times in a lease, I'm sure you've seen this a lot. There are things in a lease saying that if a certain tenant moves out,
Yep.
not them, somebody else,
Their rent gets cut in half. Or they
Because
have
you lose
the
your
option
anchor
to
tenant.
cancel the lease and leave.
because if you lose the anchor tenant, you might be losing a lot of traffic to that place, and that's going to screw up their business. It makes sense on their side, but you got to read the leases. They're very complicated. But anyway, getting back to growing, listen, get in wherever you can, find out what works for you on your income level, and do it, and then keep doing it. That's what I did.
24 hours a day, nonstop.
Uh-oh, we got a deal coming. We got a deal
All
coming.
right, yeah. So shout out Jim from Medellin, Colombia. Shout out to Medellin. I want to go there one day.
I don't
Anyways,
I'm
I'm
afraid to go
selling.
there.
I'm selling a shopping center on Gulf Boulevard in
Been there
North
today.
Reddington Beach in January.
I was there today.
But I need to find an appraiser to give me an evaluation. Do you know where I can find one?
Yes. Go to benmal.com, consult with Ben. Maybe I can save you the money on the appraisal. Maybe I'll buy it. Okay. If it's Reddington Beach and Gulf Boulevard, is it that brand new one I almost bought with the burrito place in it and the hair place?
I mean, that's literally only 10
I mean,
minutes away
listen,
from us.
We
Not
own
even.
we own stuff in Reddington Beach. So go to benmal.com/consult with Ben. Get me on the phone and let's see if I can buy your deal, or I'll at least refer you to a great broker like Ari and an appraiser. But you don't really want to be, you want to be careful with the appraiser. He can do an evaluation. You don't need an appraiser. You got an expert right here that can almost tell you to the penny what that property's worth and what the market's willing to pay. He knows. You don't need an appraiser. And banks don't recognize appraisals that you buy. Only time a bank's going to recognize an appraisal for somebody else is from another bank. They won't let you buy the appraisal and use it. So call
Jim,
Ari.
if all
But
you're
call
looking
me
for,
first, because I might be able to do the deal.
he's got my number, so
And
he'll
I'll
give
save
it to
you
you.
the commission by using Ari.
But based on your
But I'll let
question,
you sell it. Don't
it
worry.
doesn't seem like you need an appraiser. You need someone like myself or Nate to give you a valuation.
Let me tell you something.
After
Go
you
to
talk to Ben.
benmal.com/consult. Get me on the phone. We'll talk about it.
Yes.
If it's too rich for my blood and you're looking for top dollar and you don't want to make a quick deal, even though you're in Medellin, Colombia, I gotta be careful with you. I mean, I want to do business with
That's a
them.
good song.
You do business with them. Anyway, get me on the phone. Ari can tell you exactly what it's worth, and we can make you a deal. All right? What else?
All right. Shout out OG. Thank you again for the super chat. Love your content, Ben. You're an inspiration. You're a badass father. My question to you is, did Vincent keep the Rolls Royce?
Ding, ding,
You
ding,
gifted
ding,
him.
ding, ding, ding.
Did he? You'll have to watch the
It
episodes and
wasn't
see.
gifted to him. All right, stop. If I gave him the car, I'd rather give him the car than give him the money.
Damn,
All
I want
right.
a Rolls.
And listen, he got a Rolls.
You want the rolls?
You got a
take it.
beautiful.
He
Rolls.
just said, you want the money or you want the rolls?
I
He
didn't know
can,
there was
he
the
can
option.
sell a car tomorrow. It's in his
options.
name. Whose name's it in?
I
Take the
will
money.
not sell that car because I love that car.
There's a history behind the car.
History
You should have
behind
some
it,
sentimental
but-
value over.
You guys forget about all the editing Rafal does. Him and Rafal are out there editing stuff. He starts the shit with me, and you just catch the end of it with me fighting back against him. But nobody sees all the shit. He's poking me.
How many
He's just poking
properties
me
have
all
you
day.
moved to and lived in and managed?
I
and-
can't even count on my fingers because I ain't got enough fingers.
The editors know who's paying them too.
And let me tell you, he's living in some rough place where you wouldn't drive no rolls.
But
Orlando, oh my God. But anyway, listen.
I'll take whatever I
but-
can
but
get
do you
because
like
I've
the
learned.
rolls?
I've learned one
like
thing
the
with dealing
rolls?
with you.
He pulled up the other day.
If
We're
he-
coming to a building we're auctioning off that's on an auction, and I pull up in my rolls, and then he pulled up next to me, and little Ben was pissed because he pulled up in a Maserati.
I said, move this shit out. Who parked this over there? Rolls Royce parking.
But it's a beautiful car, and you love
Beautiful
it.
car, but I learned something that you can use
You
this with
earned
any
it.
rich person, your boss, use it with all the rich people you deal with. When they offer you something, don't sit there and try to be the bigger man and go, oh, I don't need it right now. You better take that shit because tomorrow that offer might be something different. And I've
You
learned that
sold
with
it.
him. If I would have said, no, I really, really don't want to get the hell out, he would have took that car and did something with it.
Sold for money,
And then I would have been
baby.
looking back
Yeah.
like, damn, I just lost that. So
He turned his shit
if he
down.
offers anything now,
I
I'm
never
taking
offered
it.
you nothing, and you didn't
He
take
could
it.
offer
believe
me dinner. I'm
But it's
taking
a
it.
beautiful car. It's a 2-door coupe, and it's really nice.
Yeah.
And we both know the previous owner. Okay, the previous owner was the guy that actually started me in real estate. He passed away, so we knew the guy that owned it. He barely used it. It's a beautiful car. So but I caught it. It was a very bad day that day. Okay, because I was pissed. He knew he was wrong by having a puddle in the parking lot the day the buyers are there for the hotel, and the place wasn't up to
He
par like
wants
it
to
should have
start
been.
again. You have 4 people you told about that. Never mind. So
And
you're
it
gonna
still
start
ain't
fighting
get
over it.
done. But the buck stops at the top. You're at the top. All right.
You see what happens when I
And I
don't
still-
do stuff myself.
He's lucky I gave him the rolls before he came to the hotel that day and saw the big puddle of water there, because then it would have been a problem. He might not be getting the rolls. Anyway, he earns everything I give him. All right, and I don't give it to him. He earned it.
And you
So
earn
it's
everything
another
I
way
give you.
of me paying him.
Hard time.
All right, if he wants something and he really does want something, or whatever, I come across something that I think he would like, I get it for him, but I'm not giving him nothing. He earned it. Aaron hasn't
Just like
earned nothing.
Just like the Hellcat. Oh, sorry. I mean, Scat Pack. Sorry, Scat Pack.
He earned that scat pack though. You
I
still
earned
make
that
Aaron
scat
earn
pack.
stuff. Shoot.
All right, what else we got?
All right. Shout out Live
And I
Easy.
fixed the
Thank you
rolls
for your
too,
super
by the way.
chat.
You know
You
that.
fixed it. Thank you.
It
Thank
needed
you.
a
I
little
thought I was
work
gonna have
here
to
and
fix
there.
it myself. No, I'm just-
I
Uh,
didn't let him fix it at the dealer. The dealer wanted a fortune.
Shout out,
So
shout
I
out,
sent it to my guy who did it for like a lot less money.
shout out, Karina.
I was
Thank you
scared.
for the super chat. Ari, other than Nate, who is your favorite colleague and why?
I mean, that's an easy one. It's obviously
Uh-oh,
Karina,
shit.
the one that asked the question.
Oh.
She's the one that's finding tenants
Oh,
for all
That's
the
not
clients.
the lady I met last week.
That is the lady you met last week.
At
She is a
dinner?
badass. No,
No, I
that's
met- I
Jen.
met a
She's
lady
my
who was
team
a
member.
Ex-military.
Yep, no, but Karina is our leasing agent. She represents landlords like Ben and other of our clients and her owns that she generates. She's
Ah.
out there hustling, proactive.
That's who I wanted to talk to because he's
Okay.
trying to get me to lease. Where the hell you leasing this stuff or what?
You
He's
gotta
selling more
understand,
property
She's out there knocking
than we're
on doors.
leasing.
She's making calls all the
Well,
time.
I
She's
hope so,
But
because-
let's be
tons of big
honest.
blasts.
Let's be honest.
It's kicking
All
my
right, let's
ass.
go.
Let's be
get real.
honest. I
Talk
like to
it.
be honest.
Please
Yeah,
be
let's
honest.
hear it.
If now we have our public shopping center in contract, right?
Yes. No,
If-
they're closed. Yeah, one holiday.
In Holiday, we have it in contract.
We do.
If the little empty space we have was rented right now, I would be getting more money. That's the game. That's real estate.
Yeah, it's real estate. She can't control what tenants say yes or no. All she can do is create the market, go out there, work night and day on your behalf,
But if I
and
had
do
a
it better than anyone
tenant
else.
in that little 1,400 square foot space,
Truth.
like a pizza place, a sandwich
Yeah.
shop, or any hot dog stand, I'd be getting more money. Why? Because the rent and your income determines your value. Okay. Luckily, we rented half that space, a little bit, split it in half. We got Publix open up a liquor store,
Yep.
and that increased the value. Now, if I didn't do that deal with Publix, I wouldn't be getting that value on that vacant space. So,
True.
I mean, this also leads to another point. Like, we're in 2023 now, right? If you're a woman out there, you can also succeed in real estate. I
Oh,
mean, I'm just saying.
anybody can
Like,
succeed in
I know.
real estate.
I'm just saying. I mean, sometimes,
But
it's
I'm glad
true.
you
Like, it's a
her.
real thing out
I'm
there.
glad she's on your team, and I believe she came through with a tenant for us in a very difficult place to rent. And I'm praying tomorrow here's some good news about the deal going through. But it's very important. Leasing is the key to retail real estate. That's how you get your upside, your value add, fill in the space. Because honestly, if the space is vacant, it's not worth shit in our world. And it's even worse because you got to pay the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, all the cam on that space is on the owner. So empty space, you're going to race.
I mean, I'm not racing no more. So I'm going to start working with, I'm going to start working with Karina and we got to get this solved because we got vacancies. I'd love to work with anybody to help me solve vacancy issue. I just started with retail. So I'm about to start digging in head first. You sold a bunch of properties, but what's up with the
He was involved with John's Pass. You were involved with John's Pass, weren't you?
Yeah.
Somewhat? You were working with a guy, and you guys represented me. You were working with the guy representing me.
I was there when you won the auction.
Won the auction on my phone. I did it.
Yeah. Congrats.
I pressed the button, and we did it, baby. All right. What else you got, Aaron?
All right. Shout
Tell
out.
them how important it is.
What?
Leasing is the key to triple net.
It's also the key to multifamily. Is leasing is the key to everything. If you got empty space, you got to fill it, right, Nathan?
But leasing in triple net is way harder than leasing and going out and grabbing old ladies to put in the apartment and schmooze them like I used to. I rented hundreds of apartments.
Do the young ladies, you can only do the old ladies.
Only the old ones. It's easier to rent. I ain't trying to work that hard.
What did he offer them is the question to rent
I
the
gave
apartment.
them everything.
Everything. Ooh,
Very
I don't
good
want to know.
approach in what you do there.
But triple net is hard to lease because you really
shopping
got...
center, single tenant net lease. It's a lot more complicated.
Give me some secrets. Give me some secrets. Give them secrets because you'd be golden goose if you could rent. Even if you found Papa John's, if you had a connection to Papa John's and you start reaching out to people who were looking for Papa John's or had retail that was empty that you could put that in there, you would make millions of dollars.
That's what I love about brokerage. The secret is very simple. Work your ass off. Do everything you can to learn because it's all about the knowledge you have and the amount of time you put into
networking.
And
which is networking, cold calling, knocking
on doors.
You got?
We ain't got all
time out and tell them how much your commission is. Fucking, I'm sorry, my language, but it's crazy. Commission on a residential is $300. Commission for these guys, if they rent something out, goes for like a year long. You get a whole year's worth of the lease.
You get explain commissions on leasing.
All right, so if it's a 10-year lease,
from the low spectrum to the high spectrum.
Explain it.
So you got to pay a percentage of the total value of the lease. So
if it's a 3% or a 5% commission, explain it.
Yeah. So if it's
let's say I gave you an empty space, it's 5% commission.
Yeah. So if it's an empty space, 5% commission. We find a tenant that pays a 10-year that signs a 10-year lease, and it's a $200,000 income of rent every year times 10.
$2 million
times 5%.
Times 5. $2 million times 5% is $100,000 commission.
Yeah, so that's what we get upon signing.
But you got 10 years on that tenant, so I'm happy to pay the $100,000. Okay, you give me a 10-year lease at $200,000 a year. You can get $100,000. Sure, you earn your job. You earn your pay. What else you got, Aaron?
All right, let's focus on these super chats for just a minute. Shout out Amika, thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on creative financing, like seller financing, is subject to it's peer-to-peer, no banks involved. Motivated sellers will entertain it.
I mean, these days I'm starting to see a lot more creative financing because the interest rates are high and properties aren't moving. Listen, it's all about two people agreeing on something. If you got a seller, may not want all that cash. You know why? Because he might have to pay a lot of tax on it. So maybe a lot of sellers want to sit back and collect a monthly return on it instead of getting all that cash. Listen, it's about two people agreeing. If you get a seller to finance, that's fine. I talked to a bank today. I said, hey, by the way, if you loan this guy 75% and I carry 10% on a second, will you let him do the deal? All right. And they said yes. As long as they're what's the word, subordinate?
Yes.
As long as they're in first position, they don't care. So yeah, you could do creative financing. What was the rest of that? It had to do with you lost it.
If it's peer-to-peer versus banks is like lender to
everything's
borrower.
Possible if it works for everybody. Okay. You can use banks as part of the deal. You can use banks not in the deal. It all depends on two people, a meeting of the minds.
Agreed. Creative financing, definitely a way to go if it makes sense.
Nice. Shout out to Pool Sheriff. Thank you for the super chat. What do you pay monthly for your pool services?
Me, I think I'm only 100.
All right, listen, he's got 20 grand to burn. Where should I put it? Put it in a pool. Listen, I don't know. I got lucky because I fired my pool company because they were charging me too much money. I got a lazy river. It's very expensive. But luckily, the guy that does my hotel comes over here and he does it for like $500 a month. And he does a great job. Anyway, pool services are pool services. 20 grand to burn. Where should you put it? Put it on the game, baby. Go to my bookie. I'm just kidding. Anyway, you got 20 dead to burn. I don't know. You could put 20,000 down on a $100,000 deal. That's 20% down. Go for a decent deal for 100 grand. Or you can find something cheap enough. Believe it or not, I've had guys call me, and there are properties that you can buy that cheap if you got the guts to go in parts of Chicago or Indiana. They got some rough neighborhoods.
I just came back from Chicago.
That's where I got my start. I went to neighborhoods you wouldn't walk into. I'm sorry, but I had the balls to walk in there. I bought properties for 20 grand before. You could buy them in some of these really tough places, or you could buy a mobile home maybe. I mean, but 20 grand is typically 20% down on a $100,000 deal. That's probably your best start. Okay, go look for a $100,000 deal and see if you can buy it with 20% down.
I agree with that, just not in Chicago.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Wherever,
I don't know
anywhere.
where you are,
got
but
50 states to choose from.
In Florida and every major city, all the condos are sitting at 100K plus. So
people are saying go to Gary, Indiana.
All right. Anyway,
I know that. All right. Shout out Sent. Thank you for the super chat. Set to bring the Jack in the Box to Florida. We'll open 6 locations in the Central Florida area. Ben, do you have any properties in Central Florida that may work for us?
Let me tell you something.
And if not, how do I get in contact with your broker?
Let me tell you what to do. You go to benmal.com/shop and consult with Ben. You know why? Because if you tell me where you want those Jack in the Box, I grew up on Jack in the Box. I know all about Jack in the Box. I live in California
I
for
love
20
Jack in
years.
the Box.
I lived off a Jack in the Box off the dollar menu when he was first born up until the age of, when you were 3 years old, I remember. The only place I could eat was Jack in the Box every day on my budget on a dollar menu. And I was making 60, 70 grand a year. But that's how expensive life was in California.
Monster tacos.
You tell me
the
where
fish
you
and
want the
chips.
Jack in the Boxes. I'll buy the land. I'll build a building, or Virginia will, and we'll build you a Jack in the Box anywhere you want.
I'll get
as
you
long as you
locations.
sign that lease, baby, and make a commitment. I'll pop up 6 Jack in the Boxes before you can say the word Burger King.
And I've lived in every major city in Florida. I'll tell you exactly what locations to go to.
So get a
Send it
hold of
to
me.
us.
Go to Casoa Band. Come to the show. Maybe we'll drive around and look at some locations that I already know of.
Yeah.
All right. Ben loves building stuff with drive-throughs. Okay. He just built a Dave's Hot Chicken, baby, right there, right next to the Buck Stadium. We could put you in places like that. We could put you on the map. We could be the Jack coming out the box. What else you got?
We could build the biggest Jack in the Box in the world and put it in Orlando because that's what they go for.
Yeah,
stuff like that. I mean,
but seriously, go to benmala.com. Click the consult with Ben. Click with the consult with Ben and get us on the phone. Shout out Joshua. Thank you for the $50 super chat. I appreciate that. No question though. Just
no question.
Joshua shot. Listen, thanks for the $50 because it's going to pay for some sausage for the Pollock. But you need to come to the show
Bring your rich
and
ass
really
to
put
the
your
show.
money to use. Buy a ticket, benmal.com/live. Be there with all of us and have a great time in our hotel. How many owners of hotels do anybody know that you come stay in the owner's hotel and hang out with the goddamn owner in a hotel I wouldn't sell tomorrow for less than $40 million? How many people you know to hang out with like that? And even Vincent will be there. What else do you want?
I know.
But thanks for the money for Rafal and the channel and everything. We appreciate it. Plus, we're hurting right now. Look how much weight I'm losing.
You look good. Is that my shirt?
Everything bad turns good. No,
That's
you
my
couldn't.
shirt.
You wish. I bought a shirt in Montreal. What else, Aaron?
all right. Shout out Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super
Like
chat.
that.
Ben, if I had 30 grand, how do I make it to 100 grand?
You got to find the right deal. All right. Finding the deal is all it's about. Finding the deal, right?
Yep.
Everything else, it's finding a deal that when it has some value add. All right. 30 grand could actually, if you have good credit, 30 grand is a 20% down payment on 100 and something thousand.
So there you go.
Right?
There you go. There's 100 grand at least right there.
Don't do it on your own, too. It sounds like that'll be a residential deal. So talk to an agent, a realtor. Just don't go in blind.
And if you find something, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
You done?
That's it.
But if you find something, try to get something maybe like a duplex with one tenant in there, because then you can put that as a part that counts as a part of your loan, right? As part of your income to help you qualify better for the loan, for a bigger loan. If you buy a duplex that already has someone living in there,
additional income.
FHA is 1 to 4 units. You could buy a fourplex with FHA, live in one, rent out the other. If you're paying rent, you could end up living rent free. And saving money is making money. That's what you start doing.
Those 3 units will count towards your income to help you qualify for that loan. It's already added in there. So
correct. What else, Aaron?
All right, shout out Philip Lewis. Thank you for the super chat. I've been putting in CPI adjustments in all of my shopping center leases for the past 9 years. When I talk to other landlords, they don't seem to do this other than the standard 2% yearly bumps. CPI is over 5%. Do you have CPI clauses in your leases?
That's a great thing to put in there, especially since inflation jumped significantly last year. And you're right. A lot of landlords don't do it. They haven't done it historically. Inflation hasn't moved as much historically. So that CPI, and tenants push back a lot. They're pushing back a lot more now these days, but landlords are a lot more strict and pushing for CPI increases. So,
and before we get too deep into it, what is CPI?
Consumer Price Index. So it's going to be based on what the CPI is at the time the lease term comes up.
Okay.
So instead of having a flat 3%, 5%, 2% increase in the option,
CPI change every year.
I don't know how the frequency of its change. It changes. It's either monthly or yearly.
It's monthly.
Yeah, it's okay, monthly. So especially the past 12, 18 months, having a CPI increase is significantly better than 2, 3.
CPI protects you against inflation.
Yep,
pretty much.
Absolutely.
It stays in tune with inflation. So if the guy puts in there, we're only going to bump your rent up every 2% every year, he's screwing himself, because if inflation goes up, he's only getting 2% when the cost of living is 5%. So CPI is a good, safe way. Now, it used to be where we would charge more than CPI because CPI was so low.
Yeah.
Then we were charging, when CPI was only 3%, we were charging a 5% increase in our leases. It's a market, it's the times, but CPI is a way to play it safe, to have in there. Sometimes it'll hurt you, sometimes it'll help you. It depends on the market.
All right, shout out OG. Thank you for super chat. We are a small remodeling company. How can we get these contracts for builders, new home developments, and apartment buildings, et cetera, et cetera?
You're a remodeling company.
So how can you let me make the connections?
How can we get these contractors to build new homes? How can we get these contracts? He wants to go from a remodeler to a builder. Well, you're going to have to probably spec. Maybe if you got the money, spec a house. Find the right land in the right location and do it yourself. Get your name out there, sell a house, make some money. But if you're looking to become a home builder from remodeling, you got to advertise yourself as a home builder. But typically people want to see a track record. So you just got to find somebody that's willing to trust you to build a house for them. You're going to have to go out there and try to, compete with other builders and see if you can beat their prices. I mean, advertise as a builder. Tell all the people that you've been remodeling for that you are now building. And you can give them the same good service you gave for remodeling as building. And then they'll tell somebody, and there you go. At least you got a reputation with those people.
All right, shout out. It's Bondo. Thank you for the super chat. Selling my condo and will pocket $250,000. Moving to the Bay Area and want to buy another primary residence. When do you think will be a prime time to move on a deal? And what are your thoughts on an ARM in this climate?
Which Bay Area? California Bay Area or Florida Tampa Bay area? I don't know. But if you got $250,000 that you're going to put in your pocket and you want to buy another primary residence, if you're moving in this area, you need a good agent that's willing to go in there and lowball and find you a deal. Okay, let me tell you something. Vincent's better half, she got her license like I asked her to do. And let me tell you, she had to go out and find another family member a house, which we closed on today. All right. She went out there and she busted her butt. She showed us everything there was. She drove, she looked, she really earned her commission, and she did a great job. She wasn't afraid to lowball stuff. She wasn't afraid to go back and forth. You need a good agent to find a good deal. Okay. That's a fact. Okay. Now, as far as an arm goes, these are dangerous times. I mean, if you fix your rate and the rates go down, you're going to feel like, oh, man, I shouldn't have fixed my rate because now the rates are lower. All right. The arm is going to be based on whatever the government's charging on a Fed rate. But if you got 250,000 and you're selling your condo, if you lived in that condo as your primary residence, that 250,000 is tax free as a single person. If you're married, you claim $500,000. Okay, take the 250 right now. I'm not telling people to run out and borrow if they don't have to. If you can, try to just use the 250 you got and replace it and not have a loan. You can always run to a bank, get a HELOC. You can always go back and refinance and get a loan against it. But if you're only going to spend 250 on another condo or place, try to borrow as little money as possible right now, because we don't know where the hell these rates are going. So, that's what I suggest. But get a good realtor that's willing to take the time and show you everything that fits in your budget. Or if you want, I don't know if you'll find one, you can try. Depending on the location, you might find a duplex. All right. And that other tenant could be paying your mortgage for you, or most of it.
Or in-law suite. If it's a really nice house, it'll come with an in-law suite.
A lot of people don't
or
want to live around a
entrances
tenant, but if you're thinking about saving money
to
and making
survive,
money,
shit, you better do whatever you got to do.
But I'm telling you now, prices are coming down. Don't pay the asking price, especially if it's a condo. Okay, prices are coming down right now. I will tell you one thing. I don't, with that 250, you might get a hold of a wholesaler. Okay, that can sell you a good deal if you got cash, because the wholesale deals are cheaper. I had guys sending me stuff all the time, wholesale deals. If I was looking for a condo or a house right now and had cash money, I'd buy it through a wholesaler, because you will save probably about 10 to 20 or 20%. What else?
All right, shout out Caleb. Thank you for the super chat. Ben, if you were Canadian, would you move to Florida for better real estate
Oh,
opportunities?
wait a second. Bay Area, contact me at benmala.com. Just send me an email, and you don't have to pay to talk to me, and I'll refer you to Vincent's better half, and she'll find you a place in the Bay Area.
Or I'll find you a foreclosure.
All right. There you go.
I'll be your wholesaler.
What else we got?
Money.
Would you move to Florida for better real
Ben,
estate opportunity if you were somewhere else right now?
Would you move to Florida for better real estate opportunity where you it's not? I've been to Canada. Canada's a very hard place to make money unless you go out in the boondocks. Okay, listen, everywhere there's a deal. But I seen guys in Canada. We went and sat down while the guy was doing a deal in Canada. There's deals everywhere. Okay, and the taxes aren't as bad as I thought. Once you start thinking about if you live in a state tax here, state with tax, it's not much different than Canada. Like if you live in California, it's like living in Canada. If you live in New York, it's like Canada tax. There's no difference by the time you pay the damn capital gains with the state tax. But listen, Florida, you live here. There's a lot of Canadians here because it is cheaper. The weather's great. Come to Florida, check around, see what you like, see if there's a deal. Go online. If you got the money, you want to buy some commercial, get a hold of Ari. Ripco, baby. Ripco. And he'll get ripping. Him and Nathan will start ripping and running, baby. Ripping and running.
All right. Shout out Ham. Thank you for the super chat. Is it better to renovate a one unit than cash out refi, or buy a turnkey triplex or quadruplex?
Depends on the numbers. Everything in real estate is numbers. Add it up, sit down and say, okay, in this scenario, if I renovate a unit, can I charge more rent? Can I borrow more money against the place because it's going to be worth more because I'm charging more rent? Can I do a refi? How much is the rate? These are all numbers that you have to sit down and figure out. All right, if you buy a turnkey triplex or fourplex, if you're buying a turnkey, you might be paying retail. All right. So if it's turnkey, there's no value add. If the rent's already maxed out and the place is already fixed up, you're just going to buy it for a cap rate. So it's all in the deal. It's all in the cash flow.
All right. Shout out Nicholas. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but thank you for the $100 super chat. Hello, gentlemen. I'm 28. I'm a commercial real estate broker, professional fireman in New Jersey. And I'm also an Air Force vet.
You're a lot of things.
I just used my VA loan to house hack my first 4-family off market this year. How do I grow an empire like you have built today, Ben?
Listen.
Shana Tova Emeto.
Shana Tova.
Dang it.
He's only half Jewish.
Shana Tova.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All right. The Jews have a new year earlier than everybody else because they want to be one step ahead of everybody. All right. So everybody else celebrates New Year in January. The Jews got to be ahead of everybody else. And we do it in September or October. All right, that's the story.
That's the easy way to put it. That's like
All right, listen, seriously, listen, if you just went out on a VA loan with no money down and bought yourself a four family fourplex off market, you're brilliant. You're great. Congratulations. Okay, but there's any value add in that deal. That's the fact, because I know you got a loan on for most of what you paid for it. Is there any fat in that deal? Can you improve it? Can you fix it up, raise the rents? Can you refinance it after you do that? And then you take the refi money and then you go out and buy something else. Or you could flip it and 1031 it. It's all about adding value. That's how you grow. The 1031 is the reason why I grew, because I didn't pocket the money. I didn't go out and buy all this stuff like I could have. I just rolled it into the next deal, and that forced me to grow by wanting to defer my tax. So basically, instead of paying that 20 or in California 30% capital gains, I rolled it into the next deal and then paid the tax. That's how you grow. But go out there. Now, you used your VA loan. You can't use it again until you pay that one off. But maybe you can do FHA. I don't know. But listen, find another deal, but take care, make money on the deal you bought. Hopefully the deal you bought is going to give you some upside so you can grow. What else?
Right? You're supposed to put that deal in another loan and then use his VA loan again, right?
He could refinance and reuse his VA loan. Yes, I believe so. But check with the VA.
Keep just rinse, wash.
I think he'll keep loaning you money as long as you don't owe them money, like FHA. What else?
All right. Actually, Ari, I have a question for you. So, like, what is the biggest deal you've done, like, so far in your career? And then, biggest deal you've done with him?
One single deal?
So most of the deals that I do are under 20 million. I typically don't deal in like the 30, 40, 50 million plus. So it's the largest deal I've directly done was 22 million.
Wow.
And then the largest one I've done with him is like 11 million.
But you're listing a property
at 37 million.
Right now. He's listing a property for me for $37 million. And you know me, I don't trust a lot of people. If I trust somebody, then you can trust them. Okay. 37 million on one asset you got.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which asset is that? I forgot.
TBC, Tampa Bay.
Right near the stadium. Look at that. 37 million. Will we take 35? I don't know. Write him an offer. If you got $35 million laying around, call Ari up at Ripco in Tampa and say, hey, Ari, you think Fat Ben will take 35 million? Believe me, he'll write it up and put it in front of me. You never know, baby. You never know.
Nice. All right. Shout out OG. I'm from Dallas, Texas.
I know Nathan will do it.
Do our best.
Nathan gets a $35 million offer coming in. Shit, he'll be writing that goddamn DocuSign offer up to me and sending it to me quicker than you can blink an eye. Well, you're the one sending me those damn DocuSigns, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Like you said, I'm always right hand.
And then, man, they send it right away. They don't fool around. These guys don't fool around, neither one of them. If they get an offer, they're on it, baby. They push it to me. They stay on me. They actually help me because they push me, okay? That's what I like about them. They don't sit around and say, oh, well, I don't want to bother Ben, or I told him about it. He keeps pushing. Ben, what do you want to do? We got to make an offer. We got to get back to these guys. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? They're the driving force behind me driving. They're like the engine in the car, baby.
That's a fact.
All right. What else?
You mentioned buying a duplex, but how do I go about buying a multi-unit apartment or a condo building instead?
Listen, a condo building, condos are individual units within a building. All right. So they each have their own tax bill. They're each a separate unit. Okay. Multi-units where you own the whole goddamn place. All right. Listen, typically you find a good deal on a multi-unit apartment building. You got to have 20% down or more. And these days you might have to push 25 because the bank's getting really scared. Okay. A condo building, you can buy condos within a building and then you own them and you can rent them out as long as the condo association allows it. All right. You can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you now, find a deal. Find something where the numbers tell you right off the bat, yes, I can make money on this. If I raise the rents, I fix it up. You know, it's all about finding deals that you can add value to. I don't care what kind of real estate is, whether it's shopping centers, whether it's storage facilities. We had me looking at a storage facility in a shopping center where we could maybe take over and run the storage facility and fix up the shopping center in Apollo and maybe make all kinds of money on the place. Who knows? It's about finding the fat on the bone, baby. Fat on the bone, just like there. What else?
All right. Shout out, John. Thank you for your super chat. Lost my dad, who did a lot of commercial real estate. Vincent and Aaron hug that guy every day. You don't know how much you unintentionally take for
Oh,
granted
that's not a hug. That's a fucking hit.
until that clock runs out. Cherish that, man. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you for that comment. We appreciate it. But they hug me once in a while. You
I'm
know.
touching his leg right now. He keeps touching my leg.
What else, Aaron? We
All right, shout out Troy. I'm 18 years old and a full-time
Yeah, they got
college
real
student.
job.
I am currently in real estate course pursuing my license. Does it make sense to do real estate part-time?
Yeah, so absolutely. I think one of the most important things that Ari alluded to in the beginning is having somebody that you can get great mentorship from. So at that age, when you're still going through college and you can still make some money on the side to help support yourself through college, but also being able to lever that experience into something once you get into the real world and really are making money and give yourself an opportunity that you'll be head over heels above other people in the same situation, same age as you, because you've taken the time to get that license and then also use that to get that experience that a lot of people, especially nowadays, kids our age don't really want, or kids your age and people, I'm 25, so just a little older than you, they're not working as hard as they used to. And even some of my classmates, I noticed that with. So it's being able to, one, have that ambition and then use that to lever that into real experience and be able to take a position when you get out that is a lot higher up than you could have if you just did that when you graduated. So you're already ahead of the game.
What were you doing at 18 when you finally graduated high school? Did you graduate by 18 finally? And then you went to college. What were you doing?
I went to college
You were
for 1 year.
partying.
1 year partying versus 13 years of slaving for you.
Can you imagine going to school?
I
At
can't
18
even
in
remember what I
college?
did in college because of you. You literally
Yeah.
wiped my memory from college, and all I can think about is
Can't
all these
remember 'cause you were
properties.
passed out from drinking
All
and
these
partying.
properties I had to go to.
How can you
and
remember anything?
I can only think about the smells of the apartments I've been in, and the roaches and the fiends and
All right,
the.
that's enough.
Okay.
But yes,
The point is, can you imagine going to college at 18 and then, all right, you got to work, you got to study. But imagine if he gets his license and on the weekends, while everybody else is partying, he's doing open houses for some agent and showing properties. Because at 18, you get a license and you can make money. It's a license to make money. And imagine when you graduate college and you already got a real estate license. You could spend the 4 years you're in college doing all kinds of stuff with that real estate license. Not only that, you could do property management. You could, how many student properties do we own? Where we hired the students in college to help us lease the apartments to other students. You can do anything you want. Get your license, go get a job in an apartment building that's written to students. Let me tell you something. You know, one kid called me up and told me to do what he did. He rented a 4-bedroom house while he was in college. He lived in one of the bedrooms. He rented the other 3 out by the bed, and he didn't cash flow, but he could live for free.
Genius.
And then the money his parents gave him every month for rent,
That's his cash flow.
right in his pocket, baby. I mean, you know, listen, you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it and you got a plan. Get that license, get good grades, and start trying to get in an office around your college and start trying to make some money and learn. It's great.
All right, shout out Matthias. Thank you
Who the
for
hell
the
is
super
that?
chat.
Would you let Vincent manage a hot dog stand? You guys are going to start turning me up. All right. I've managed more stuff than you could dream about. Okay. Yes, he put me in the position, but he also left me in the position and
Never
said,
helped
don't
him.
fuck it up.
Never helped.
So I've done stuff for 13 years that you could only dream of and that I miss dreaming about because I had fun and I learned a lot. So
He's
I
done
could
it
manage
all.
1 million hot dog stands. You're the one who
Really?
can't manage fucking hot dog stand.
All right,
He
okay.
get to
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Vincent,
yeah,
He
yeah.
started
Come
me.
on.
goddamn
Yeah,
it.
he started.
Get your ass
He's a
on me
keyboard
back.
warrior.
Boy, you
Really.
really
Keyboard
got to you,
warrior.
boy. Hey,
You
we're
can't
gonna
even
go on
manage
Craigslist.
feeding your
I'm
damn
gonna go
dog
find
at
a
your
hot
mom's
dog-
house.
I'm gonna find a hot dog stand and put it in front of his
I'm gonna
house.
start roasting. I'm gonna start commenting back. You let me comment. Come on, give me
What
a
else you got, Eric?
give me a comment back.
All right, shout out Matthias.
Cheap
Thank you.
$2 bastard.
Thank you for the super chat. I'm 20. My credit is a 720, and I am a full-time college student getting a degree in computer science. And I work 40 hours a week as a construction worker. I will be at your event and hand you my resume.
All right, baby.
There
I'm
we
waiting
go.
for it because let
You're
me tell you
hired.
something. If you know, let's talk. All right. I don't know where you live. I don't know what you're doing. But listen, if you're 20 years old, you got good credit, you're in college full time, and you still how you're working 40 hours a week construction. But let me tell you something. Come to the event. Bring us your resume. If you live or go to school around here, we might be able to give you maybe construction work too. We're building 10 rooms right now. I don't know, but you're definitely somebody with their head on right. And I look forward to seeing you. Did you put his name there?
Yes.
Come up and tell
Somewhere.
me
I'll
I'm the
find it
guy that go to school full time and I'm work construction. And I'll remember you. I'll see you at the event. I'll even get you a burrito.
All right, shout out to
I have a
Vibe.
Mexican buffet,
What-
by the way, and Italian and all that stuff.
What's the best way to work remote in real estate? I want to get my MLO to do such. Any suggestions? By the way, love y'all.
What's a MOO and what's MOFO? But love
That,
y'all.
Mofo.
Anyways.
MOFO, smoke one for. I know what MOFO means. What does MLO mean?
I don't know. That's too new for
1
me.
4 million. I think this guy's smoking something right now. But what's an MLO? You don't.
I have no idea.
I know MOL means more or less. But listen, you need to
What's
call
the
us
best
back
way to
when you're not
work remote in
smoking.
real estate? What do you think?
So
Ari?
look, in what we do in shopping centers, it's tough to work remote because you got to know the submarket, the streets, the different corners, the traffic drivers, the economic drivers in that micro area of a submarket within Tampa. Now, the best way to work remote, actually, to answer your question, is single tenant net lease. The most important thing about single tenant net lease is the strength of the tenant and the length of the term. So you could sell a Walgreens in Alaska from your pajamas here in Florida. So you want to work remote real
I
estate?
bought a Home Depot from a guy out of New York. All right. He did fly down to meet me, but he didn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he knew what I'm looking for. He knew that it was right. It fit what I was looking for. It was a great brand. It was a good price. And he knew that the lease terms and all that stuff he sends me by email. Today's world, a lot of things can be done remotely, but he's right. Triple net, single tenant net, leasing properties are easier. But yes, you can do stuff remotely. It's all about making a marriage, finding a property that fits the buyer or finding a buyer that fits the seller. That's what it's all about. You can do it remotely, but it's going to be a little difficult if it's more than a single tenant, like you said.
Yeah. Other than single tenant,
It's going to be a little harder.
Although I do know a lot of good brokers that do work nationwide job product
A
types
lot of
like
the
mobile
guys
home
that
parks.
you work with that make offers on your listings, a lot of them are from far away. You know?
But they travel to visit the site. But
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
if you want to work
deal to be
remote real
made.
estate in commercial
It's best
investment
to
real
be boots
estate,
on the ground.
single tenant net lease.
All right.
All
You
right.
guys, I don't want to keep you guys all night. You've been
All right,
here,
cool.
you know,
Well,
but whenever you're ready to
8:40.
go, we can go, you know.
All right, we'll let
It's
you know.
up to you.
All right. Shout out Drop Top.
Thanks.
I have 190 grand home, 3% rate. Should I sell for 400 grand?
You know,
So
that depends on your life right now. If you're sitting there at a 3% fixed rate on that house and you can sell for 400 grand, you got 200 grand equity in here. If you lived over there, if you lived in that house over 2 years, yes, you will walk away with 200,000 or close to tax-free dollars. But what are you going to do when you sell that house? Are you going to turn around and have to buy something and pay more than double that rate now? And how's that going to affect you? But, you know, everybody's got their own life. You know, yes, you're going to give up that really great loan, but you're going to get your hands on 200 grand. How much you got in the bank right now? But where are you going to live when you sell that house? All right. You got to consider all these things. It's a personal thing when you're dealing with your home. How many kids you got, what neighborhood you got to live in, you know, all that good stuff. It's a personal thing. I mean, if you want to go to benmal.com and we talk personal, we can talk personal. Just go to benmal.com/shop, consult with Ben, and we'll have a 15-minute call and we'll discuss it. But you got options right now. If you never had $200,000 in your hand tax-free, you know, this could be your time. You don't want to miss. Question is, what's the next step? What else?
All right.
Beautifully put.
can you defer capital gains in a 1031 if you cash it out? If so, what's the best way to do so? Thanks, guys. You rock.
No, the minute you touch any net proceeds after a sale, you cannot exchange them. So
It's called boot, baby, boot.
there's a 1031 intermediaries. So at a closing, all those net proceeds, they don't go to you. They go to the 1031 intermediary. And then you have to re-exchange those funds, reinvest those funds into another property. The minute you touch it, it's taxed.
Unless he's talking about when he says cash out. I mean, you
Refi.
can't touch the cash. You can't touch a penny from the closing when you sell something in a 1031, not a penny. And if you do touch any of it, you could touch part of it and you're going to pay tax on that. Okay. And then the part that you didn't touch, you can defer. I have sold properties with no cash out where I just had to find another deal because I refinanced it.
Oh yeah, cash
And
out
pulled my
refi.
money out already.
Yes.
And then I had a 1031 with no cash to go to New Deal. I had to come out of my pocket to buy the other deal. If I sold something for 250,000, I got to replace 250,000. Why? Because I cashed out and took the money before I sold. Everybody has a different situation, but you cannot touch the money. And if you do, you're going to pay tax on it. Simple as that.
But yeah, so you're talking about a cash out refi. It's not going to
It
be.
depends.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to tell when people just send you one little
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
what the
no doubt.
situation is.
Understood.
But what he said is 100% true. You touch the money, you're paying Uncle Sam, baby. What else?
All right. Shout out Jeff. With interest rates up, what are you 1031 people into? Are you paying taxes and cashing out?
Maybe. What minimum cap rate makes sense? What asset type? Listen, everybody's got a different situation. All right. I may have to pay tax on certain assets, but I may decide to pay tax. It depends on my basis. How much is my gain? Your gain determines your tax. That's what you have to figure out. So, everybody's got a different situation. I'm old now. I might say, you know what? Screw it. I'll just pay the tax. The only other option is I don't sell the property. I wait till I pass away, and then my wife inherits stepped up basis. And, but she's already got enough. She don't need any more. Anyway, the point is that everybody's got a different situation. You do what's right for your life. And if you're not sure about what to do for your life, come to our show and I'll tell you, or go to benmal.com/consult and I'll tell you. Everybody's got a different situation. I can't I got to know what the hell's going on in your life.
All right. Shout out Noah. Thank you for your super chat. 150 grand to spend at 20 in school. About to toss it in a CD at 5% for 6 months. With the amount, would it be better to buy a single property, multiple different ones, or build something like a fourplex?
He's got 150 grand to spend at 20 and he's in school.
Yes.
All right. Listen, you're in school. You're 20 years old. Stash your
CD.
cash. Put it in the CD
Go
for
on the
6
CD.
months. And let me tell you something. You can get 6% right now. You got to shop around. You got to find who's paying out the most. I believe right now Bank of America is paying 6% on a 6-month CD, and it might be a bank that's even willing to pay you more. You got to shop around, see who's going to give you the highest rate. I know you get 5% on a money market account right now that's not tied up like a CD if you want. All right, with the amount, I lost the rest of it.
Right there.
The amount better to pay a single property. It would be better to buy a single property, multi different ones, build something like a $4. Listen, with 150 grand, you can do some stuff in real estate, but you got to make sure that it works. The numbers got to work. But if you're 20 years old and you're in school, I'd wait. Knock out your career. Tell everybody in school, get that base in life. Graduate from school, have a career, and then worry about real estate. Because whatever career you choose, it's going to protect you for the rest of your life. And then you can do real estate too. And if you're really good at real estate, maybe you'll give up that profession, or maybe you won't. You can do both, but at 20 years old, if you're sitting around with 150 grand in the bank, you're safe. And it's always nice to be safe. Right now, it's not a good time to get into real estate. You're not going to find a deal that easy. So stash your cash, but get the best rate you can.
You've been looking at my notes? That's what I said. That was nicely put.
All right. Shout out Ash Jones.
You are my son.
What do you say about a product that produces 38% yield in itself, independent of third parties, trustlessly, and has worked flawlessly for 3 years? I want to be your crypto teacher. Basically, what do you think about crypto?
I already screwed up in the stock market. I can't go with crypto. That's out of my area. It's out of my generation. Anybody here at crypto? You look like a crypto. You're a crypto. Aren't you a crypto? Nope. Isn't a crypt somewhere where you put people that are dead?
Yes,
that
is one of them.
That's
I'm not ready for the crypt yet. Soon, but not yet. I appreciate it, but I'm not into crypto. Talked a little bit. He tried mining or something like that, and that didn't work out. He ran up my electric bill to the roof. And I told him, get your fucking computers out of my goddamn office. The electric bill was $200 a month, and it went to $1,000. How much money did you make? Well, I didn't make any yet. Well, how are we going to pay the $800 difference in the electric bill? But anyway, crypto works for some people. I'm not against it. I just don't have any knowledge about it, so I can't talk about it. And I'm not in a financial position to risk any money right now. Right now, we're stashing our cash. What else?
All right, here we go. This is more of a banking question. So do one of you guys want to read it? Because,
BM
504 SBA. Is that the same loan that person tried to get when you were selling my sweet tomatoes?
Yes.
And she strung us along for like 6 months?
12, but yes, exactly. SBA, Small Business Association loan. That's not as much in our world on pure investment real estate. That is if you're going to occupy a building or occupy 50% or more of a building and you're going to operate your business out of it, you can apply for a 504 loan. I don't know all the details of that. It's a little outside my wheelhouse.
15-year term, 4 years interest rate, 4 years interest only. Does that
No, I
mean
think he's 4 years into
interest
it.
rate went from 5.5 to 10.5, wasn't fixed.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, you screwed up
Wow.
like I did. And 10.5 sounds like a lot. Ask bank to do it.
He asked
And
the bank
only-
to do interest only
Yeah.
PMT. I
And
don't
they're
know.
looking
looking
into
into
it.
it. I have it up for sale.
All right. Well, I don't know how much the business is worth or the building, but you know, if you can sell it and if you think your cash flow is getting hit that hard like me and we're selling. But you always try to negotiate with the banks. All right, because it pays for them to work with you. When COVID hit and all this other stuff goes on, they deferred my payments on my hotels. They knew I was closed up. I had no money coming in. They understand your interest rate. I don't know why an SBA loan would go up so high, but I guess it's possible. But it's crazy that you went up 5 points. Maybe the bank can refinance it because you've been into it for 4 years, it looks like. So you've already seasoned the loan. Maybe you could pay the 504 loan off and refinance into like a 7 or 8% loan. That may help you. You need to work with the bank. Always try to work with the bank. Believe it or not, the bank's actually your friend. Okay. They're always your friend until you don't be a friend to them. If you try to work with them, they'll try to work with you and make a deal. Maybe you can refinance. I don't know, but you need to do something. If you got to sell, and then sell if you got to do, but just don't screw up your credit and don't try to default on a loan because that's not good.
All right, shout out, Mike. Thoughts on the condo market with all the new inspections / special assessments? They're kicking the older people out and then building a new
It's very,
luxury.
very, very difficult right now in Florida, especially if you're on waterfront property, because all these older condo buildings with the people died from the building coming down. They have structural issues. They're having special inspections now. What they're doing is the condo associations are having to come up with all this money and have these big assessments, and people can't afford them. And a lot of these buildings have exhausted their life expectancy. I know that's why you gotta be very careful when you buy an older building, because older buildings, everything that gets old gets broken down. I'm proof of it. Okay. When things get old, they get old. There's nothing you can do about it. If you need a water, it's very, very bad. In South Florida right now, there are a lot of condo buildings. I was just down there. People are telling me, I can't afford the assessment. They want to spend $1 million fixing up a condo. And there's 50 of us tenants. Each one's got to come up with 20 grand on another 20 grand. What do I do? And if you don't pay it and the condo pays it, they could kick you out for not paying it.
Especially what happened to the condo in Miami that collapsed. Ever since then, they've started more and more special assessments.
So it's very
inspections.
dangerous to be in that situation right now. It may be, if you're in an older condo building, you might consider selling. Okay, if you don't think you're gonna be able to handle the assessments. So it's
But
something
that's mostly
serious.
for buildings over like
A
4
lot of
or
those
5 stories, right? So
But all the
anything 3 stories and lower
doesn't
kinda-
matter these days. If it's old, it's old. If the concrete, the foundation's getting deteriorated, the steel's getting rusted out, and that thing could have collapse, then it's serious. And a lot of those buildings can't be saved even.
No,
I mean,
they got
you
to
know,
be raised and rebuilt.
I looked at a hotel they want to sell me on South Beach, on the beach. Had to be knocked down. There was no way to save it. There was just no way. The engineers told me, forget about it. You'll never be able to save this building. So if you're buying it, be prepared to knock it down. I didn't buy it.
All right, gents. After
He's
Yeah.
got to
more
go.
questions.
There you
One
go.
more
Yeah.
question,
We're
you
gonna,
gotta
we're gonna
And
read
then
a
we gotta
couple more
jump.
super chats, then we're gonna wrap it up anyways,
Yeah,
guys.
no. I
But
love it.
shout out Jay. Have a management consulting background, looking to break into investment sales. I got my real estate license. Any advice on where to start looking for jobs?
Yeah, sure. I can speak on this one. So I graduated from Florida State 2.5 years ago, knowing that I wanted to get in the commercial real estate industry, retail specifically. But it's definitely a tough industry to break into. I think from junior year to senior year, I put in over 500 applications on LinkedIn, every kind of application website that I could think of. I was applying to Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, Atlanta, all the cities I knew I wanted to be in, and probably got 10 to 15 responses out of those 500 applications. So it was about being persistent, knowing that's what I wanted to get into, and was able to continue down that path, interviewed with Ari, and I've been going ever since with them. So, and that's a lot of what investment sales is. So you got to keep grinding to get it. And then investment sales in itself is a very similar grind. There's going to be a lot of no answers, no's in general, but you're going to get those people, and it's just all about uncovering them and being persistent.
And on top of that, I would say firms like Marcus and Millichap, Matthews, Horvath and Tremblay, any firm that has a structured training program, or talking to any experienced real estate agent in investment sales that has experience training, developing, and mentoring. So what you want to do is you want to either go to a firm like those ones I named that have structured training, because that'll cut what takes most people 10 years. It'll cut it in half for you. Or somebody that has the ability to train and mentor. That's the best way to accelerate your career. And that's what I would do.
You know how I got where I'm at today? He says he has a management consulting background. I don't know what type of management he's talking about, but you know what got me into real estate? Property management. And if you got a license, you're licensed to manage it. And property management companies can make a fortune. You know why? Maybe you start your own management company. Because if a guy's making $100,000 a rent, $100,000 a month in rent in an apartment building, you're going to get $5,000 to $6,000 a month to just oversee the management and pay the bills. There's a lot of money in property management, let me tell you. And when I was young, I went to work for a guy he was a developer. He built real estate and he managed it himself. If you get with one of those guys, then you're also get involved with the investment, the new projects that go off the ground, opportunities. But management is a big part of real estate that people forget. There's a lot of money in management, okay? When I bought John's Pass, you guys were managing or somebody else was? Somebody
Colliers.
Colliers. And you know they would charge. That place brings in millions of dollars a year. They were getting a nice fee no matter what. The place is doing good. The place is doing bad. It's not the management company's fault. They're doing the best they can. They're still getting their fee off the gross. So don't discount looking into property management also. But like he said, if you go to a firm that has some kind of future and program for you. All right, we wrapping it up?
Do one more and then we're
One
out.
more,
One more.
baby.
Oh,
He's
shit.
hooked now. He's hooked. We'll see you back here Thursday. Ari's coming back. He's going to show up and say, hey, let's do it.
Every week.
You know, I mean, we look for property managers, even though we're a property management company. I've been on Craigslist and I've looked at every listing you could imagine. There is a lot of people, put in your city, put in your area. There's a lot of people looking for managers to just join their group or their company or their,
I never
someone
paid
like
rent my
him.
whole life. You know why? Because I managed the building I lived in.
Yeah. I mean,
Never
that's
paid rent. It saved my
tons
ass.
of people
There you go.
looking for that right now. You need to go on Craigslist. You need to look. You need to
Everything.
apply.
But he
He
wants
said
to
he went
do
to
investment
500
real
people,
estate.
and
You gotta
Ari's
go
the only
his
one to
route.
call him back.
You really want to be in investment
gotta
real
keep
estate?
fighting.
You got to
He's
join
fighting
the
them.
right team, right?
Yep, right team.
You got to
right
join a
firm.
team that's making money, baby.
Even I see people post husband and wife. Like people say, I'm looking for a husband and wife team to move into my trailer park or my 100
Management
units
is a good part of
and
real
manage
estate.
it. You know, the husband will do the maintenance or
Because you
vice
know why?
versa.
If you can manage somebody else's property, you can end up owning your own.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. I managed for other people, and I ended up managing if I can manage for him, I can manage for myself.
Nice.
Well, you need some money and the credit and find a deal. What else?
All right,
We got
Pressman,
a
thank
big
you
one
for the
here,
super chat.
baby.
Thanks, Ben, for being you. Your spirit and the way you look at life, money, and family is a blessing.
It's one of my people.
Super
One of his
grateful.
people.
You
Another
are
butter
my
chicken.
spirit animal, baby.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I wish you the best. All right, are we done? You got any more
You're
big
the
ones or
spirit
what?
animal.
We
I
keep
mean, I
going.
think
You
I
got
think
more
that's
to
good.
cut out.
I mean, you pretty much answered every single person's question
Great.
on here.
Well, we
like,
thank everybody
you
for
pretty much-
dropping in.
Any
I'm
more
There-
glad. I hope
money?
you enjoyed our
I'm talking
special
shit.
guest tonight.
no, everything's
Vincent
good.
made an appearance. He's living in the neighborhood now.
I'm back
He's a
in
big
town,
shot.
baby.
He's got a house in the neighborhood. He's got a
Back
Rolls
in
Royce.
town, baby.
You know, he's living large, baby.
3 weeks in, you working the hell out of me, boy. You and little Ben are some
He's working in the
hard
garage at
working
John's
mother.
Pass, giving out tickets to people that didn't pay.
Holy shit.
Me
They're
too. I've
working.
been working in
We
John's
had
Pass.
parking wars at John's
Now he
Pass.
done got rid of the
Iron Fist.
management
Even
at the
Vince
parking
Evans working
garage.
there on the
Aaron's
weekends.
I'm working there
Everybody's-
too on the
Thank God I
weekends.
got some help though. They are helping, but there's a lot of work
I
you got
agree with
going
Have
on.
another cigarette
Vincent.
before you go.
Vincent is the man.
Vincent
There
is
you
the man.
go.
These decent, smart people right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks very much.
Hey, seriously,
Thanks for
guys,
everybody coming
check out
tonight,
our
and I
live
hope we had a
event.
great night.
Check out our live event
But you
October
better come to the
7th.
show. We ain't got many tickets left, so you better hurry up. We got a shuttle bus that goes right to the airport to pick you up. Just pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm here. Come pick me up.
Seriously.
Holiday Inn, 4 Point Sheridan, Tampa Airport. We got rooms waiting for you. We got seats waiting for you. We got food waiting for you. And Vincent's going to be waiting for you.
I'll be
So
there.
what else do you want? Who else better you going to hang out with on a Saturday night, October the 7th? in Tampa, Florida, baby. See you there.
October
Adios,
7th.
amigos.
Yeah.
October 7th. Be there. The
All right,
networking.
one time,
And-
everybody go on a count of 3. Everybody go. Adios, amigos. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Adios, amigos.